Newsfirst at 9.
Hello there, a very good evening and welcome to your primetime news bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
And I'm Nicola D'Souza. Let's start off with a look at tonight's headlines.
Headlines on Newsfirst at 9.
Chief suspect in the Kamrupitia double homicide gunned down by the police. Former Director General of the MCNS abused the law, the judiciary and the police. A statement from MP Anurakumara Disanayaka. Price of bread likely to increase in January. Prime Minister says that Ranil Wickremesinghe has been granted many things as there needs to be an opposition to uphold democracy. Vaunia magistrate questions the actions of the National Child Protection Authority.
Newsfirst at 9.
Now on to the news in detail. The chief suspect in the brutal murder of a police constable and his wife, who left behind two orphaned children, was killed in police fire today.
The suspect was gunned down in the Naigala Reserve in Kamrupitia. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana said that two police officers were injured in the incident.
The chief suspect in this grisly double murder, Chintaka Wasanta alias Katayam Chintaka, was gunned down by police special task force personnel. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana said the suspect had lobbed a hand grenade at the police officers and was killed when they returned fire.
The police STF personnel fired in the direction from which the grenade came. After their return fire, they moved forward and came across a dead body. Upon inspection, it was realized that the body was that of the chief suspect in this double murder, Katayam Chintaka or Chintaka Wasanta. An inquiry into this was held today. Two constables attached to the police special task force were also injured in this incident. Police
officers who searched the premises where Chintaka Wasanta alias Katayam Chintaka was gunned down also came across a cave where they believed the suspect was hiding out. Following the magisterial inquest carried out by the Mathura Additional Magistrate, the suspect's body was taken to the Kamrupitia Hospital for the post-mortem examination. 33-year-old Waligama Leonarachige Sunil, a police constable attached to the anti-vice squad of the Mathura Police Division, and his wife were brutally murdered on the night of the 16th inside their house, while their 2-year-old son was also injured in the attack. The residence of the chief suspect in the double murder is located in close proximity to the home of the murdered constable. Police investigations revealed that 3 other persons were involved in the murder in addition to the chief suspect. The police said prior to this that one of the suspects, who was arrested in Hakmana on the 22nd of November, was gunned down by the police when he opened fire on them while being escorted to reveal the location of a hidden arms cache. The other 2 suspects in the double murder were arrested by the Mathura police on the night of the 26th of November. Based on information that came to light, the suspects were escorted by the police to Denagama in Hakmana the next day to unearth weapons that were used in the murder. The suspects had escaped and had jumped into the adjacent reservoir along with one of the police officers guarding them. Both suspects were killed.
The expenditure heads for the Ministries of Defence and Urban Development and Law and Order were passed in Parliament today.
126 MPs voted for, while 9 MPs voted against.
UNP and Democratic National Alliance MPs were not present in the chamber when the roll was called.
MPs from the Tamil National Alliance voted against.
Moving on to other local news. Speaking in Parliament today, Parliamentarian Anurukumara Disanayaka stated that the former Director General of the Media Centre for National Security abused the law, the judiciary and the police.
The truth behind this lies in the raid that was carried out on a gambling centre. That is why I asked that question. I saw an article in the Diva in a newspaper.
මේ හුලා කවුද කියලා ලිපියක් පළ වෙලා තිබුණා මේ මොවුන් මාරු කර අරන ලද මේ අපරාධයට හවුලුන් හුලා කවුද කියලා ලියලා තිබුණා මාධ්‍යවලත් වක්‍රෝක්තිය.
The article questions who the person connected to these transfers is. The media also carried this indirectly. It was written in many different ways. Honourable Chair, I am speaking of none other than the Director General of the Media Centre for National Security, Lakshman Hulugalla. I am not aware of how that position was created. They are speaking of him indirectly. After a gambling centre was raided, the Director General of the Media Centre for National Security transfers the officers who were involved in that raid to rural areas. What has happened to the law in this country? Honourable Chair, their personal lives are of no interest to us. They can live their personal lives as they please.
සමාජ ඉවසනවා නම් ඔහුගේ ඥාතීන් ඉවසනවා නම් ඔහුගේ හිත මිත්‍රාදීන් ඉවසනවා නම් අපිට ඒක අදාළ නැහැ.
That does not matter to us. However, Honourable Chair, if one is burdening the brave police officers via the position vested in them for one's own personal benefits, then that is wrong.
ඒ තනතුර මේ රට ඉතාමත් නිර්භීත ලෙස කටයුතු කරන ලද පොලිස් නිලධාරීන් මත පටවනවා. ඒක වැරදි.
Speaking in Parliament today, TNA Parliamentary Group Leader R. Sambandhan made this statement.
I heard many people talk about the TNA today. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to deal with all of that. But you have much more to do with the LTD than me. I don't know who Kumaran, who SP is, or KB is. I've never seen him. But he's your buddy. He's your buddy. There is a minister in your cabinet who has been referred to the LLRC report in regard to something that happened in Batiklo some time ago. You were a chief minister in the Eastern Province who did not win this time. You made him win. And he's now in Parliament. I have nothing to do with the LTT. You have a lot to do with them. Can you deny the fact that LTT influenced the electoral verdict in your favor in December 2005? Can you deny that? Can you deny that? So please do not throw stones at us. We have nothing to do with the LTTE. We work with them to bring about a political solution when we needed to work with them. But beyond that, we never had any truck with the LTTE from the point of view of the violence. I want to say that on the floor of this house, and I want every one of you to get that very clearly, that you have much more to do with the LTTE than I have, or that we have.
Speaking in Parliament yesterday, Prime Minister D.M. Jayaratne said that opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe has been provided with many things as an opposition is necessary to uphold democracy.
The Prime Minister made this statement during the debate on the presidential expenditure heads.
Honourable Opposition Leader, you have been provided with a good building and a vehicle through these expenditure heads. This is because we want the opposition to be well organised and active. An opposition is required to uphold democracy. An opposition leadership is necessary. That is why when the President was preparing this programme, I presented to him these two proposals for you.
I thank the Prime Minister for putting this forward. But a building and a vehicle is not enough for an active opposition. There must be a completely democratic society.
This shows how well our government and the President are implementing democracy. Mr. Speaker, I ask whether there have ever been such provisions made for an opposition leader. He made a request and I submitted a cabinet paper which His Excellency the President had approved through the cabinet. A program for the opposition leader to work fairly and happily was prepared. This shows our democracy.
Let's take a look at some of the remarks that were made in Parliament yesterday.
Mangala Samravira, the new member of the UNP Leadership Council, had a party at Sirikota, held an exhibition and asked Callum McRae to come there. They held a media briefing and then held a party with Channel 4.
Channel 4 සහ එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ මගුල එදා කණ්ඩ පටන් ගත්තා.
හැබැයි මගුල කණ්ඩ පටන් තැනම රෙදි ගැලවුණා.
Mangala Samaraveera, who was appointed to the UNP Leadership Council through the back door, feasted together with Callum McRae.
අපි කියනවා තාම පැහැදිලිව ඔයගොල්ලෝ
We are saying this very clearly. You couldn't get together, so you appointed Karujaya Surya to this leadership council. I have not heard of it, but is there such a thing as a leadership council in the theory of leadership? Never in the history of the world has there been such a thing. There is one leader. How can you become a leader when you bring 17 people over to this side and then return alone? How can there be any leadership? The UNP is trying to journey with these people. This is not a journey that can be undertaken.
මේක යන්න පුළුවන් ගමනක් නෙවෙයි.
විපක්ෂයේ පිළිවෙලක් නැහෙනි.
There is no order or unity in the opposition. The more facilities we provide, the weaker the opposition becomes. We wish to say that we want to see a strong opposition in this country in order to sustain democracy. The people in our government and I share this belief. We want a strong opposition. Unfortunately, there isn't a strong opposition in our country.
අපේ රටේ අවාසනාව ශක්තිමත් විපක්ෂයක් නැහැ.
The All Island Bakery Owners Association says they may be forced to increase the prices of bakery products, including bread, from January next year.
The president of the association, N.K. Jayawardena, said that this was due to the increase in prices of imported ingredients.
Taxes on a number of imported ingredients used in bakery products, including butter, margarine and palm oil, were increased through the 2014 budget. We have gotten to know that the VAT on flour and wheat seeds will be increased from next month. If this tax is imposed, then definitely the price of bread and the prices of all other bakery products will increase. Taxes on ingredients used directly in bakery production, including margarine, palm oil and sugar, have already been imposed. Palm oil is used in 90% of the bakery industry. Margarine is used in 90% of the bakery industry. When prices are increased, it hits us hard. It cannot be stopped. The bakery owner must cover this rise in cost in some way.
Speaking at a gathering in Rajagiri, JVP Politburo member Lal Kanta expressed his views on the budget. Since tax is not being charged from food for dogs and cats, this is a budget meant for dogs and cats. People have the freedom to feed their cats and dogs the same food they consume. However, there are people who give their dogs special imported food. In these families, it's harder to raise a daughter than it is to raise a dog. But now it's harder to raise a dog than it is to raise a daughter or son. This is because special injections have to be given to them and they have to be taken to the vet. Tax charges on dry fish, coriander and Maldive fish and sugar were increased, but food for cats and dogs that are imported are completely free of taxes.
බල්ලන්ට පූසන්ට ගේන බඩු මුට්ටු ටිකේ ඔක්කොම ආහාර ද්‍රව්‍ය වල සම්පූර්ණයෙන් බදු නිදහස්. මුලේ කට්ටිය යනකොට බල්ලෝ බුරණ එකක් නෑ මීට පස්සේ. නැට්ටවනගෙන ඒ තැන්වල අපේ බල්ලන්ට උගන්වන්න හයියෙන් පුරපන් කියලා.
The budget for the Casbaba Urban Council was defeated by a majority of 1 vote today.
The United People's Freedom Alliance governs the Urban Council.
The Casbaba Urban Council comprises of 10 ruling party representatives and 7 opposition representatives.
However, when the vote to pass the budget took place today, only 6 votes were cast in favor of the budget, while 7 were cast against.
4 Urban Council representatives of the ruling party abstained from voting.
And with that, we're going for a short commercial break. We'll be right back.